On today's topic, we will be discussing about starting up right in business. Today we'll be able to guide you and help you understand the different business structures. And with me, I have my colleague here, Ingrid, and my name is Ashley Mukami.
Hi.
Hello.
I know we usually hear these terms a lot in reference to different businesses. We hear about partnerships, we hear about private companies, public companies, we hear about NGOs. So I don't know, maybe you can just break them down for us.
Okay, so we have several types of businesses, business structures. Is it business structures? Businesses in Kenya. Mm-hmm. I'll begin with the most basic one, being the sole proprietorship, where it's one man business, meaning that one man does everything. He's the owner of the business. When it comes to tax liability, it means that the tax is on him. Personal mm-hmm. income tax it's very different compared to other business structures that we look at, like a limited liability company or public company. So this means that in case of any liability, it's on you mm-hmm. as one person. Okay. But most people prefer this mode of business, especially when they are starting out, because we don't have a lot of money and it's easier to register with the business registration services, and it's easier to start up and just run with it. So you're able to take loans in your name, you're able to enter agreements in your name, but the risk of having such type of business is the liability, because it's all on you. So if you're not paying tax, KRA will come for you.
So would we put like Mama Bogas?
Yes,
in this category.
If Mama Boga has registered a sole proprietorship, then yes.
Okay.
They will, liability is on her. So if you have creditors, they will come for you personally and they buy you bogas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we have a second type of business, which is most common in Kenya. Mm-hmm. It's the limited liability companies. In every year, I think we have thousands of businesses coming up, especially limited liability companies, by shares. So when I say by shares, I mean that this company is set up and we have shares that need to be distributed either to one person or more than one person. So we have directors in place and we have shareholders. Directors can be the same as the shareholders, or you can have different directors and different shareholders. The beauty about this type of business structure, business model, is that you can add in your foreigners, you can take in property with the name of the business, since it's an independent, I like to say an artificial person. It's right. Its own person, so it can own property, it can enter into contracts, it can enter into take loans. So many, the business in itself is its own person, and this means that it shields the directors and shareholders from any liability. So if creditors come for you, if KRA comes for you, they come for the company and not you as a person.
Okay. And when I'm starting out, can I just start, maybe I don't have any other directors or shareholders, can I just start as me? So it's just Ingrid who wants to start up a company, I'm alone, I have no one else.
Yes, you can start. You'll be the director and you'll be the shareholder of that company. Okay. And you will own the entire amount of shares. Mm-hmm. So whenever you're bringing in people, you will now start to distribute those shares or increase the shares. But this we'll discuss in another segment about increase and reduction of shares in limited liability companies.
Okay. Now, we have companies. So for example, banks. What are banks? Are they private limited companies? Are they public companies? And what makes a company public vis-a-vis private? Are they registered differently? Are they governed differently?
Yeah, so public limited companies are companies that are trading, I'll use the word trading loosely, in the stock market, and they have gone public with the issuance of shares. So this means that any person can be able to buy and sell the shares of the company. They usually do something called an initial public offering, where they offer their shares out to the public, so anyone can come and buy and be a member of the public. For you to be a public limited company, you have to fit in some certain criteria. You have to do some certain things, like I'll give the basic ones. you shouldn't be more than you should be more than two directors. It doesn't have a maximum number of shareholders that are in place, so anyone can be a shareholder if you have the money to purchase those shares. So another key feature of a public limited company is a lot of reporting. So you report your financial accounts, your statements, your meetings to the members of the public, and there's a lot of accountability to your members.
Right.
And some of these directors shouldn't be directors on the board for more than maybe 3 years. So you see, there's a lot of structure in place for these public limited companies compared to private. Private, you can start your company alone. You're the one who's calling the shots, and you're the one who is doing everything. You're also a shareholder and you're also a director. But they're also, both these companies, the private and the public, are similar in that they are body corporate, so they can enter into contracts, they can sue or be sued, they can do business with the name of the company, and they shield the directors from any liability. So the company takes liability.
So is this why we usually see companies like Safaricom reporting to us their financial accounts? You see them plastered all over the newspaper. So it's not in vain that they're letting us look into their books.
No, it's a requirement.
It's a public company.
It's a public company, and it's a requirement in the Act.
Okay.
Even when they're inviting their members for meetings, AGMs and statutory meetings, they must invite the members and must make sure they issue out notices, agendas. Compared to private, yes, it's in the article that you need to have AGMs, but you can just send a text to the other directors and say, hey, I'm calling you for a meeting, come.
So you can say private companies conduct their business privately, unlike public, where everything is in the public.
Yes.
So what about in a situation where maybe it's me and you, we've gotten this bright idea and we want to go into business, but we don't necessarily want to register it as a company. Is there another option or another business vehicle that we can use to register?
Yes. So if you don't want to register a company limited by shares, you can register it as a partnership or a limited liability partnership. Now, I'll say partnership, I'll call it a general partnership. Well, me and you will register the business together. It's ideal for me and you to also have a partnership agreement that will govern our relationship. Now, the feature about a partnership will be that liability and liability will be on us.
Okay, as in the individuals?
Yes, me and you. It won't be on a separate person or a separate vehicle like a limited liability company by shares. So in case anything goes haywire, it's just me and you that will come up with the money and pay, either be it tax, be it creditors. But the beauty about it is that we'll share profits together and we'll share loss together. So the reason why I said it's ideal to have partnership agreement in place is to govern this, our relationship. It's a relationship that we're coming up with. So if you're not able to understand from the word go, then it will be very dangerous for us to do business together. So we need to say, how will our profits be shared? How will our losses be shared? Will the profits come back to the business? So we need to navigate that before we start business together.
Who accesses money in the bank accounts?
Yes,
do we both need to sign?
Who will sign? Can I sign alone? If you're taking property, will the property read both our names? Will it read the names of the partnership?
Right.
So these are some of the things you need to consider when you're starting business together with another person. And then we have the limited liability partnership. It's the name limited liability partnership means that there's some sort of liability that is in our partnership. Yeah. Now, this particular type of partnership is usually mostly taken by professionals, lawyers,
accountants,
dentists. Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain amount of liability that will be prescribed when we're registering it.
Okay.
So we can say that each partner is liable to pay in case of any liability that will happen, is liable to pay maybe 200,000. And then the rest will be taken care of by the partnership itself. So an LLP, the key feature of an LLP is that it's a body corporate, meaning that it's an artificial person. it will enter into contracts. It will enter in its name. It will get loans in its name. It will do business and operate in its name, in as much as it's a partnership, and it can be succeeded by other partners. So that's why you see most law firms go for partnerships and LLPs. But with the new act, the LLP Act in place, it has given more restrictions to partnerships, in that we have to declare your accounts to the registrar.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are some things that have come to govern
The
LLPs
relationship.
that was not there before. So it's ideal to speak to a consultant or a legal profession to advise you on the best mode of vehicle if both of you are looking to have partnerships. But that does not mean that if you're not a professional, you can't register an LLP. You can, but yeah, it's good to speak to a professional before you embark on that route.